And we're live. We did it. Yay. Yeah. It's just two of us. Sean literally broke his face playing Quidditch. No, it's not. Yeah.
I'm being told I may be muted.
You're good now. There was an error.
Okay.
I had to reset.
Okay.
So Sean broke his face in Quidditch, specifically his cheekbone, I believe, got smashed. He is going into surgery next week. He is okay. We've been talking to him in the background, and he's been hanging out. More to come with that. So well wishes for Sean if you see him in the Discord or on Twitter or something. But yeah, he's doing okay. Everything will be back to normal at some point. It was a little scary to find out what happened to him. Like,
yeah,
right
he just messaged out of the blue like, well, I need surgery or I'm in the hospital. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's like, Paul, can you cut the episode? My face is broken or something. It's just like, wait, what? Holy
just
shit.
nonchalant, like, yeah, I'm gonna be away for the next like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so well wishes to him.
Sean energy.
He's still doing background stuff. He's the one that put up the poll for TDP Plus and stuff, but he's in no way gonna be able to talk for at least another couple weeks, probably. So yeah, that's the news with why there's two of us, but it's okay. We have arguably too much to talk about on this episode anyway.
Yeah, a lot happened this week somehow.
Despite
it felt quiet up until like, was it yesterday? I think it started going nuts.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot happened yesterday. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it did. Let's just jump right into it. This is the top-down perspective for July 22nd, and I'm Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
All right. John, I'm just gonna start talking about games.
Go for it. Just go.
I'm gonna go through a bunch of.
Paul played 5 games this week. Yeah. I played 0, but I'm actually able to finally talk about the game I played while I was on break.
Yeah. So. I played Second Extinction. It is a Left 4 Dead like with dinos. It's in game preview or early access right now. It's on Game Pass. It is okay if you have a group. It's kind of just another one of those and kind of doesn't do anything too special. So Second Extinction, if you want to play with your buds on Game Pass, it's maybe worth looking out at.
Is it just Evolve again?
No, it is very much Left 4 Dead. You go into like an open world area with an objective, and you can do other mini objectives to like kind of get stuff from the dinosaurs, and for doing objectives that you can upgrade your weapons and characters in like the lobby after, and it's persistent, so there's kind of that hook in there, which is kind of cool. It's not fully out yet, and other people that I've been playing with have had weird bugs in it. I haven't, so I've had a great experience with it. One of my friends disconnects every 10 minutes from our lobby for some reason. The game just stops working. The other one, the game plays everything through his like headset that he can hear himself and the other guy that we play with at all times, even though, yeah, it's weird. That game is buggy, but
interesting.
But it's okay for me, so that's cool.
Aren't you the lucky one? Ooh.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I've been still dabbling in Final Fantasy XIV. It's unfortunate that my time with that is probably done now because every other game decided to come out specifically on July 20th. So Final Fantasy XIV is still great. I see why people love it, and I'm not even at what people call the good part yet. So that's cool.
Are you ever going to go back on downtime? What are you thinking?
Totally. Yeah, I'm so in. I was also told, like, just don't rush it or whatever, and I kind of agree at this point. That story sucks until the part I'm at now, and now things are starting to happen. Like, the first 50 levels sucks in that game.
So, I meant to ask this last time, too. You're playing through Realm Reborn right now, right? Like the pre expansion stuff.
I'm in the stuff. It's the end game of that. So the 2.2x content.
So apparently they truncated a lot of that after I stopped playing. So
I heard that,
which was in between that. Does it seem truncated to you, or are you still playing the old stuff?
Yeah, no. When I started like on this, I'm not going to call it a grind because I've been kind of taking my time with it as well. A couple weeks ago, I started where I left off a couple years ago at like level 34, I think it was, and I hit 50 in 3 days. Like, it's so much quicker if you just, I don't know what they did to it, but it feels way quicker moving around and getting stuff done. I guess the quests are a little less wordy or something. I don't know what they did, but it feels quicker, and it was okay, not great. It's starting to get really, really cool though, and that's exciting. It's just too bad that it's starting to get really, really cool when a whole bunch of other stuff happened, like getting an email giving me a bunch of codes for the New World beta to try that MMO out, which I did.
Okay, so it's an MMO. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about New World lately, but I wasn't sure what it was.
It is an MMO. It feels more like a survival game because it has a lot of systems in it. So it's an MMO where everything you do levels up doing that thing. So if you like do a bunch of mining, your mining will get better and you can do more mining and do it quicker. Same thing with like cutting down trees or leather working or any of that stuff. But more importantly, it also goes to your weaponry. So whatever weapons you use, you get better at, and you kind of like upgrade the skill tree with that weapon more than just like upgrading like a warrior skill tree. You kind of just get better like per weapon that you use, which is kind of a neat way to do things. Also, it's more action oriented. It's not just kind of like clicking on a mob, then like hitting buttons when they go off cooldown until it dies. You are actually like, it's an action RPG essentially, for the like combat style. So I think that's really, really fun about it. It has an okay setting that I thought it was going to be more like literally people like, I don't know, like Native Americans or like indigenous people versus like Spaniards and shit, because I haven't really been paying attention to what it is. But no, you are fighting demons and like things of that nature. There's demonic forces on this land or whatever that you go to, and it is very much still a video game, and that's cool. As I was playing it, I read about the story that we'll talk about later where it started bricking 390s and shit, and that wasn't too cool. So whoa. I'm a little worried about it. It's a game I'm totally tempted to buy and take a look at randomly with people, but like Final Fantasy XIV is probably the thing that I'm going to rest my MMO hat on now for a long time, because that game just opened up in a crazy way. More importantly, Cris Tales came out, the game I've been waiting for forever, and it definitely gives me that like Chrono Trigger feeling of just kind of like unraveling a story using the time mechanics, and like being odd that they like thought of certain ways to use those time mechanics specifically in the battle and not just with like storytelling things. I really, really like what they've shown of it now, but it is very obviously like, hey, we loved Square Enix video games from the mid-90s, and that's what we made. It is very much that sort of thing, with a little bit of the light Mario RPG type things where there's like an active battle system where you push a button to do more damage or to like ensure a crit or to parry attacks when they come in at the right time and that sort of thing. But there's none of the like little mini games or anything that I was kind of not feeling about Bug Fables. It's like the minimum amount of that sort of thing, which I enjoy. It's just really super solid JRPG that is absolutely beautiful looking and has great music and just feels like one of those old games in like 2021, and I can't get enough of it. I'm bummed that so much other stuff has been happening and coming out, because I just remembered I'm going to add one more other game here quickly that Forgot.
Oh yeah, that also was a big release.
Yeah. So, Cris Tales is fantastic. I had to pull myself away from it to do some like adult chores and like clean up and make dinner and stuff like that. But I can't wait to jump back into that thing. It's so good. Pokemon Unite officially came out in some capacity on the Switch, so not out on iOS and Android devices just yet. But the Pokemon League of Legends is now out officially, and I played probably about 3 to 4 hours of that yesterday. Had a pretty good time with it. They did the thing I was worried about, and that is the monetization is like really bad and gross. It is taking forever to get shit unlocked that I want, and I've been winning like very regularly in that thing and doing
is
dailies
it all
and stuff.
cosmetics, or is it what are the unlocks exactly?
So some of the there are cosmetics that are buy only, like you can only unlock them with purchasable stuff. The unlocks are the different Pokemon with the in-game currency. And maybe more gross is items that they can hold or you can use in battle with them to like be better or whatever. So
so there are pay-to-win mechanics.
There's very light pay-to-win mechanics, but they are there. Yeah, they're definitely in there. It's pretty gross. It's about the same. Well, no, other MOBAs don't usually do pay to win. Like, they don't usually sell you things that, or like give you the option to unlock things faster that give you an increase in the actual mechanics of the game. They're usually just cosmetics. Yeah, I don't know. That it's okay. I don't love the monetization thing. I don't love how slow it is to unlock stuff. I'm trying to get my Haunter, or I guess Gengar, but like it starts off as Haunter. He's 10,000 in-game gold or points or whatever. And I ended off even doing all my dailies from yesterday, winning 10 out of my 12 matches and like doing a bunch of the challenges. I think I ended off the day with like 9,300 or something. So it's infuriating that I'm so close and I couldn't get it, especially because I need 5 Pokemon unlocked to be able to do ranked mode, which is what I want to play, and I only have 4 because I'm not going to cave in and buy a Pikachu for 6,000 coins. I want my fucking Gengar, all right? And I was so close. So, yeah, I wouldn't take that game too seriously, and I hope people don't. It's pretty fun. I like that the matches are at most 10 minutes because they just kind of go on forever. They're based on time and not based on you actually like completely annihilating your opponent. They're always going to be 10 matches, or 10 minutes rather, per match. And yeah, it's pretty fun. It still has that great feeling of when you're winning, you are definitely winning and it feels good. And when you're losing, you want to kill yourself. So it's a MOBA. Yeah, I don't know. I like it, but I would never recommend anybody play it, if that makes any sense. Yeah. The last thing is Death's Door came out as well on the 20th, and I was playing that just before we went live here. That game is fantastic and so in my wheelhouse of things I like that it is ridiculous. It is a top-down isometric action-y dungeon crawler type thing with a lot of level and game design ideas taken from the Soul series of like an open world thing where you're kind of opening different paths and to the same, or to like make progress, because you always kind of start back at like a checkpoint that's pretty far, but you open up like ladders and doorways to get back quicker. And it's revolved around boss fights and like, yeah, it's just super, super fun. And I can't wait to play more of it. I'm not too far in, so I don't really know where the story is going, but you play what they call a Reaper, which is like a Grim Reaper crow that's kind of in training in some sort of way, like kind of younger fledgling type Reaper that is in a little predicament that kind of happens right away, and you are trying to like fix it essentially, and you're meeting weird people along the way. It's cool. It's a really, really cool thing, and I can definitely see why Devolver picked that up, because that is super the type of thing that they would put out for sure. That's it though. That's all I've been playing.
Well, that's a lot of good stuff. I've been hearing a lot about Death's Door, so I'm excited to eventually check that out. I actually have it picked up, so.
Yeah, I almost don't want to talk even more too much about it because it could win the Patreon poll.
I haven't looked at the Patreon poll. I'm curious to see how that's going right now, because there were some good games on that list from what I saw.
It is they're all within 1 or 2 votes away from each other, basically.
Oh,
it's extraordinarily close.
Nice.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
All right. Well, like I'm doing Picross as always. I'm working on the Miku Picross again. But otherwise, I haven't really played anything for myself this past week. So let's talk about something I did play when I was on my time off.
Yeah.
On my time off, I got a very early copy of Blaster Master 03.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people figured out that's what it was because I was being cagey about it, and they couldn't think of what other major release I was excited about.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I've already played through Blaster Master 03, and that was a treat. It is really fun.
Okay.
I technically I could have talked about it right away, but I figured I would wait till like a week before release because now all the review copies are starting to get out there. So now it seems like it's the time to chime up about it.
Sure. Yeah.
That game, my memory of 2 might be hazy as I haven't played through 2 in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems harder than 2.
Okay. 2 was pretty difficult in some spots.
Yeah, 1's pretty cakewalkish.
It is.
Especially by comparison.
Sure.
2 definitely kicked me around a bit, and 3, at least for a while, definitely felt like it was doing that as well. There are some actually tough fights in there, including like a hidden boss technically. There's like a lot of like cool things about it. It is got a more open world feel than 2 did. 2 kind of went to a more you have an overworld you can go through to different areas, but then like all the maps are self-contained. This kind of goes back to the Metroidvania style of like there's a bunch of paths you can only go through here if you have a certain ability, etc. So
Sure.
bouncing around like that. They refined a bunch of the systems from 02, so the countering system's back. They refined the weapon system from 1 and 2.
Okay.
And I think I actually like the change they made here better. Instead of you having to like level up your weapons to access different types of weapons, you get 5 weapon types, and those are your weapon types for the game. The weapon power-ups make them stronger. So you start with your regular blaster, which if you get it fully leveled up can be a charge shot, a shotgun, a whip,
Okay.
an auto lock-on that hits all targets, and of course the wave beam.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you level them all up together. So like you pick up 3 icons, you're using shotgun the whole time. All your other weapons will be at level 3, etc. There's a lot of doors that will only open to specific weapon types. So that's how you kind of balance out some of that. There's a lot of like optional dungeons you can do for extra items and stuff like that. There's a whole system where you, how do we even describe it? You essentially go into another dimension. And that's a big focus of the game too. Yeah, no, this has been all the marketing. So like this is literally in like the trailer for the game and everything.
Okay.
So it changes how you go through maps and mazes and stuff like that. It's I really liked it. The only thing I'm kind of on is the story. And that's because the story goes in a direction I didn't expect.
Okay.
And it's really hard to discuss this without spoiling anything about 03. The only way I can say this that's not too spoilery is if you're familiar with how Inti Creates likes to do their stories, this is an Inti Creates ass ending. So
okay.
Get ready to expect the unexpected, basically.
Right. Okay.
All right. 03 the finale? Yeah, no, 03 is confirmed to be the finale. they might do more stuff, but like this is the end of Jason and Eve's storyline essentially.
Okay, sure. Man, I'm super excited. I really like I only played I think 02 last year during the pandemic. I like or
Probably, yeah.
finished it anyway.
No. 02 is good. I
It's
like
very
02,
good.
but I haven't gone back and played it since I beat it originally.
Yeah, for
Other
sure.
than when they added that Canna Raising Simulator DLC.
Oh, did you go back and play that?
I played that because I was like, oh, it's just like a shooting gallery. This is neat. I mean, like, it's only like, I think it took me maybe an hour to get all the different Canna evolutions. It wasn't that much, but it was like a fun, silly thing.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, 02 didn't get much DLC compared to 1. I'm curious, and I guess they did that because they were working on 3. So now I'm curious, with this being the end of the trilogy, what are they going to do for DLC for this?
Yeah.
So yeah. But no, I really enjoyed. I do recommend it. Just get prepared for a hard game, and get prepared to be like, what the fuck, at a couple moments.
Yeah. I mean, 2 and even 1 had a few of those for sure too. So I'm excited. Yeah. I can't wait. That's only a week away. So
yeah. Enjoy it.
Cool.
That's all I've been playing otherwise.
All right. Well, with that, let's move on to the news. So I put the big stuff like right away because I figured let's get the real big bummer out of the way, and then everything else will be kind of a little more lighthearted. I'm gonna ease into the big thing with the first news story of Activision. It came out that Activision kind of sabotaged Blizzard's Warcraft 3 Reforged.
What? Well, I didn't hear this one. What the fuck? Why?
Yeah, so this was a thing where they knew that Warcraft 3 was going to be a very, very big deal, and it was announced as that it was going to be a very big deal from the get-go. And it sounds like Activision pretty much just didn't give them enough time and cut their funding for it, which is why they released, and they pressured them to put out a what people who would not be named in this article called they knew an unfinished product, and they were pressured into that. So that's a bummer because that was maybe what people really point to as like the first recognition that this Blizzard is no longer the same Blizzard that they grew up with and fell in love with. Moving on to the Blizzard that nobody really knows anymore. There is a big thing going on right now. The state of California has filed a legal complaint. Specifically, the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, an agency of the state of California, is suing Activision Blizzard for what they call frat boy culture and harassment of their female employees and workers. I'm going to say this is pretty serious. Just if you're listening to this and you are a little more sensitive, some of the stuff here is maybe a trigger warning, just as a warning. Some of the things that they are talking about here, I'm just going to read verbatim from the Bloomberg Law report here, because I think they do a pretty good job of wrapping some of the stuff up here. So one of the first things that's kind of like disgusting frat boy behavior, but maybe not too serious, just kind of really shitty, is they apparently there's a thing that they would do called cube crawls, where males employees would, as they say, drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. That's the type of like frat boy shit we're talking about.
That's the light part of this.
That's the stuff that's like, those people should be fired for being idiots. But there are very serious sexual allegations. I know YouTube hates the word rape. That's thrown around a few ways here. There is an account of a female Activision employee who took her own life on a company trip with a male supervisor.
Whoa. Okay, that explains that story I saw going around. I thought they were related, but I didn't hear the full thing.
There is it's hard for me to talk about. And yeah, it's very, very serious. There's really serious shit going on here. This isn't just the like, ooh, cancel culture bullshit that people talk about on Twitter. This is literally people's lives have been ruined, and some like to an extreme degree.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. There is, if you want to read it, there's a full 29-page, like copy of the lawsuit that is available for you to read, where they go into specifics about the complaints. You can read a little more specific about all these stuff and like other things that have happened there. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fucked up. Like, I don't know how you even talk about this stuff.
I honestly thought, like, okay, I knew it was bad. But I didn't know the specifics. Like, I saw pieces going around, and now that you've actually read out some of it, I'm like, oh. So this does mirror to me some of the things that happened with Ubisoft last year, and nothing came out of that. But this time it's different because the actual government is involved.
Yeah, and
so I've seen some people speculating that this could actually cause some actual repercussions for people, simply because now a government is paying attention to it. This may actually finally change something.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of comparing shitty situations. This is far worse than Ubisoft, what's been outlined here. Well, that we know of. I mean, there might be
we know of.
I'll read a few more other things here that maybe aren't as serious as the stuff I started with. I don't want to talk about the suicide thing because that's really, really hard.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay, how about this one? Supervisors ignored medical restrictions given to female employees and gave them negative evaluations while they were out on maternity leave. Other female employees reported they were criticized for leaving work to pick up their children from daycare, while their male counterparts were playing video games, and female employees were kicked out of lactation rooms so that the male employees could use the rooms for meetings. An African-American employee noted it took her 2 years to be made into a permanent employee, while the men hired after her were made permanent employees. She was micromanaged such that her male coworkers were known to be playing video games without any intervention by her supervisor, but her supervisor would call and check to see if she took a break to go, check on her if she took a break to go on a walk. Other African-American employees who worked in information technology similarly micromanaged by her manager, unlike the men on her team. When she requested time off, her manager made her write a one-page summary of how she would spend that time off when no one else had to do it.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of shit in here.
That I see the frat boy culture thing there. I'm actually very glad the government stepped in, and I never thought I'd say that.
Right? Yeah. So Activision put out a response, and
I haven't heard this. Oh boy.
It makes me hate them even more than just hearing about what they did. I was going to
say that is not a happy face you have currently.
I'm just going to read their response verbatim. I'm sorry, this is going to take a good minute or two. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. We value diversity and strive to foster a workplace that offers inclusivity for everyone. There is no place in our company or industry or in any industry for sexual misconduct, harassment of any kind. We take every allegation seriously, investigate all claims. In cases related to misconduct, action was taken to address the issue. The DFEH includes distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past. Yeah, this is their PR.
Holy shit!
They are
holy shit.
They are saying
I'm like, this is PR talk, blah blah blah. Wow, they swung for it.
They did it. We have been
Mm.
extremely cooperative with the DFEH through their investigation, including providing them with extensive data and ample documentation, but they refused to inform us what issues they perceived. They were required by law to adequately investigate and have good faith discussions with us to better understand and resolve any claims or concerns before going to litigation, but they failed to do so. Instead, they rushed to file an inaccurate complaint, as we will demonstrate in court. We are sickened by the reprehensible conduct of the DFEH to drag into the complaint the tragic suicide of an employee whose passing has no bearing on this case, with no regard for her grieving family. While we find this behavior to be disgraceful and unprofessional, it is unfortunately an example how they have conducted themselves throughout the course of... You know what? Fuck Activision Blizzard. Like, fuck them so much. I hate them so fucking much.
That is the way that a company talks when they know they will either win because no one cares,
Yeah.
or they know they're going to win because they can outspend anyone who's actually going to be on the opposing side. But since this is the government involved, I don't know how this is going to go down. Based on that discussion, they deserve to get slapped in the face. They better get something out of this, but...
There's more to this where they're saying that...
Oh, for fuck's... No,
it's
I don't know if I can even handle it.
It's 3 more paragraphs. The basic thing is they're saying the DFEH is not showcasing the Blizzard workplace of today. They've made changes and they're not being like given the credit for it, and that they are doing stuff to ensure that women, people of color, are able to be more fairly represented, blah, blah, blah. There are articles online that I was looking up. Unfortunately, I can't just say which ones they are because I closed them. You can Google it if you're into this sort of thing. That did deep dives. I think they're all on Kotaku, and I think there might be one on Polygon or something as well. That are just like, yeah, like they say that they're fix this, but this guy who is like one of the main people of this, he's still working there. And like shit like that. So they have debunked that. I really want bad things to happen. And I don't know.
That was so much fucking PR talk. You knew that would be, they were full of shit, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I am.
That definitely does scream
angry.
Too big to fail mentality. And
I hope
I don't wish that for the employees, but I do wish it for the company at this point.
I hope I hope they get taken down. I hope they're gone. This used to be one of my favorite companies, and it makes me sick. Like I will say I read the headline of this what was going on here last night because somebody posted it in our Discord, and I was just kind of doing a once over of like the news, and I didn't read into it. I was just like, oh yeah, more video game like treating women shitty thing, like pretty standard fare, unfortunately. But then I started reading it, and then I was just like, oh my god. What the fuck? I guess the last thing I'll say on it is this is not just Activision Blizzard. This happens in places other than the video game industry. It's fucking reprehensible. It makes me so disgusted. You know, I'm not the guy who comes on here and like preaches about my politics or what I think. This is disgusting, and it makes me fucking sick to have played their games. Fuck Activision Blizzard. That's
Amen.
it. Moving on to happier news. EA Play happened.
Okay, all right. Whiplash off of that. Wow, okay.
I know. Who would have thought that going to EA would be the cleanser of bad news in the gaming industry? EA Play happened today, actually. I just watched it, actually, before we went live here as well. Did you watch it?
No, but I am aware of the big announcement, at least.
Yeah, me too. It was spoiled? Like, can you spoil PR? I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, it was leaked.
It was leaked.
Worst kept secret, etc.
Yeah. I'll just quickly run through the things that happened. Grid Legends is coming out in 2022 from Codemasters. It reminds me of the old Most Wanted, Need for Speed Most Wanted, because the thing they added to Grid for Grid Legends is a story mode with actors and FMV sequences of them fighting
Ooh.
and talking to each other.
Ooh, okay. Now you got my attention now.
It looks really dumb. There's like 3 main actors in it. There's a I don't remember any of their names, unfortunately. There's a woman racer who is trying to be the first female winner of the Grid Cup or whatever's happening in the story. There is African American guy who is, I guess, just a racer. I don't remember what his thing is, but then there's like a shitty rich white boy that is like the winner of the 5 previous cups and is like the one that everybody's gunning for to take down. It's so cliche, and like I kind of want to see it through, but the problem is I always get bored of racing games, so I never want to buy them for full price. So I'm hoping this is on EA Play so I can play it. I guess like the big thing is Sex Education, which is a show that Sean and I both like. I don't know if you've seen it at all.
Which show?
Sex Education?
No.
Okay. One of the actors from that is one of the dudes in this, and that's kind of interesting to me. After that, they did a bunch of Apex stuff, which made no sense to me. I'm sure Sean loved it, and hopefully he'll talk about it more for people that are following Apex, but I didn't care and didn't follow it. I guess there's a new character or something coming. They showed that game that they kind of teased, I think, at E3 last year called Lost in Random, which is the Tim Burton-esque looking, almost claymation action RPG type game with a dice companion that follows you around and like a weird card system to make him do things. And it looked pretty good. It looked like if there was a darker Psychonauts or something. That kind of looks like what that game would be.
I was gonna say, watching the trailer now, it kind of gives me like Alice Madness Returns vibes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I could see it. I really like how it looks. I like the style of it. I don't know that I'm sold on the weird card attacks for your dice companion, but it also looks to be just a normal hack and slash of some sort as well. So I'd probably check it out. It looks cool. An EA original. They showed Knockout City Season 2, Fight at the Movies, which seems to be a map that changes the arena randomly between a whole bunch of different movie-inspired things. A new ball called a Soda Ball. Yeah, new like gear and shit like that you can unlock. Looks cool. Drops next week. Battlefield 2042 has this thing called Battlefield Portal, which is essentially you can mix and match a bunch of different Battlefield shit from different games, including Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 2042 to like have weird game modes and stuff in it. Some of the things that they showcased was who would win, or like you make a game mode or map or whatever where it's 1942 on one side and 2042 on the other. So you have 30 players or something playing on the 1942 side versus like 30 players on the 2042. And it's kind of a like, there's a futuristic smaller team with like better weapons win against the masses of like the 1942 guys. Another game mode was a tank versus a whole bunch of like little weird drones, because memes that they memed on the like who would win between like one horse-sized robot or 100 like duck-sized robots, essentially, is the meme. Yeah, just stuff like that people can put together. They have said it is not a workshop type thing, like an editor where you cannot change anything on the maps or like put any custom things in or anything like that. It is very much just mixing and matching things and toggling like switches to make different game modes and download them and stuff like that. So seemed kind of neat. And then Dead Space got kind of a non-trailer, a teaser trailer, because that is coming back. And
yeah, so this is supposedly a remake of Dead Space 1 done by a different studio.
Yeah.
While the original devs are working on a new Dead Space game. I think I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember either. I mean, I'm in. Dead Space is still one of the best horror video games ever created. So I hope they do it justice.
That's what I'm worried about. If they don't have the original Blood, I'm wondering what direction it's going to go in, because Dead Space got pretty actiony by the end, even if that was forced on them by EA. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this.
Yep, I agree. Okay, that was it for EA Play. A bunch of smaller stuff and mostly a whole lot of stuff also coming from the Discord, so thank you for people that do that. Xcom Legends, that weird mobile game, is officially an XCOM game in the canon. So your next XCOM is a mobile free-to-play weird thing that people don't like the look of. That's unfortunate. I'll probably still try it because, you know, why
Still
not?
XCOM. At least it'll have good. You know, the mechanics will be good at least. But yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was. I didn't pull this as news, but there was also a controversy with Kotaku about this game, where they made a tweet that a lot of people are saying was a little unprofessional because their headline was "The new XCOM looks like shit." Or something along those lines, and it pissed off a lot of the gaming industry people.
Wow, okay. The fuck's going on, man?
I want to see if I can find the actual tweet, but like,
I appreciate the bluntness. I saw Jeff Gersman talking this week about some article where they were making fun of the new Atari system. They said the exact same thing.
really? Okay.
Yeah. Let me find
Yeah.
that Jeff Gersman tweet.
Their tweet was 2K very quietly launches a new XCOM game that looks like shit. And a bunch of people decided to pipe in and say that this is super not professional or any of that stuff, including a dude who is a system designer on Warcraft, so maybe he can go fuck himself forever. I don't care what that guy has to say about anything. But yeah, I thought that was funny. I think this game looks kind of like shit. I'll play it though. I like XCOM type games, but I'm not impressed with what I've seen. I guess.
Yeah, here's what Jeff tweeted out. This was tangential, basically.
Okay.
In case you're wondering where I come down on the article headlines, or come down on our just this morning, I was telling everyone that we shouldn't have titled a YouTube podcast clip. Turns out the Atari VCS is hot garbage, even though I think the Atari VCS is hot garbage.
It is super unprofessional. It is.
Yeah, I think context matters, and if that phrase came up in a longer podcast conversation or written preview, fine, but to lead with it just comes off as mean to me. Too mean, and whatever other points you want to make in the piece get buried by the harsh headline. Not worth it.
I agree. As Homer says, in their defense, it's hilarious.
It is funny, but it's because we can say that because we're not in the industry. We're not working on that game.
If
I can imagine seeing that and having worked on that game, those people are pissed.
That's the type of thing that if, like, in my job, I sent an email with anything in it that's like, what is this shit or something, I would be fired. Like, that's super inappropriate. It is hilarious. Other things that people say look like shit, but I think it kind of look. I'll try. Ubisoft announced a new Tom Clancy game, and it is a free to play first person arena shooter. Yeah, it's called X Defiant, and it has attitude for days. And the thing I think that weirds me out is Tom Clancy and, like, skater punk attitude do not go together to me. But they are definitely trying to push it. What it is, by the looks of it, is they have squads from different Tom Clancy games. There's one from The Division. There's the oh my god, what's the Splinter Cell? What are they called again? The company?
Oh, Third Echelon.
Yeah, there's Third Echelon people in there. I can't remember which one. I think the Outcast or something from Division 2. Looks like there's... What else is in here? I'm trying to... Oh, okay. The Wolves. That's who it is. The Wolves, Cleaners, and Outcasts. Aren't they all from Division 2? and only Echelon is the Splinter Cell.
Maybe.
Weird. Anyways, the Clancy verse is open now. They are all fighting in an arena.
You know what's
I don't
rad,
know.
kids? War crimes.
Yeah.
That's what this screams to me. Like I'm
Yeah.
guessing based on the imaging that they were kind of like trying to get that blood dragon energy in there with like the neon and everything, and I can kind of
Yeah.
see that.
I think the reason why it's called X Defiant is because the XD makes the like smiley face logo, and
Yeah.
that's
They specifically circle that too on the logo I'm seeing.
yeah, it's definitely the smiley face and like a crosshair or something. Ugh. It's free to play.
Did you know that Tom Clancy passed away like a decade ago now, I think? Can you tell?
Yeah. Every day we get further from Tom Clancy. Fall Guys Season 5 was announced and kind of shown a little bit. Do you care about Fall Guys still anymore?
I haven't touched it since. I don't even think I played Season 2. I might have like once.
I played a little bit of Season 2. I didn't realize they were on Season 5 or coming up on Season 5. So Season 5, 6 new rounds coming to the Beanie Bonanza. There's a treetop tumble, a round that will get players to battle those swinging logs and expanding frogs down branching paths to get to the finish line. Stomping Grounds is a scramble to avoid 3 huge mechanical rhinos. Lost Temple is the most ambitious round to date, according to Mediatonic. They don't say what happens in there. And it's a new final, so that's cool, I guess. Oh, it's probably a race.
I'm still proud of the devs for having turned that into something like so interesting. I'm still happy that game has gotten success. But I think it's for me, it's past. It's one of those like, hey, if I got a group, I'll play it.
Yep.
But yeah.
I wonder. So I think they've actually finally added in the fact that like you can create like a streamer room and have everybody join on a code.
I think that was Season 4's big update.
I think you're right. Does that like ever make you want to go back in or not really?
I would probably do it for stream. That would be fun.
Sure.
Yeah, because you can't really per se stream snipe. You sort of can, but not too much.
Yeah.
But like that game is so chaotic and fun, and it permits so many players. It's probably worth it.
Sure.
So yeah, I'd be down to play it. Like I'm not writing off the game like I'm done with it forever. I'm just like, if someone wants to play it, I'll play it. Is that kind of situation?
Sure. Apparently this was set for July 20th, so I guess this is out. This is a little bit older, I guess, a few days ago. Remember, this is where I wish Sean was here, because I know he and I were talking back and forth about Skull and Bones, and like a while back. So that has been, there's an article here on Kotaku about the development hell it's been in for 8 years. It's finally in alpha.
Wait, it's been 8 years? What?
It's been 8 years. There's a huge write-up of what's going on here. Let me see if I can find just
Holy shit, you're right, because this got announced right after Black Flag came out, Assassin's Creed 4.
Development began in 2013 as a multiplayer expansion to Black Flag that would release as a post-launch update. The expansion took on a life of its own, morphing into a full-blown MMO-like spin-off with a working title, Black Flag Infinite, and a brand new pirate game called and later a brand new game called Skull and Bones. And then 4 years after that, 2017, they showed a demo at E3, and they are still currently struggling to get into alpha as of today. Oh no, it just passed alpha, they confirmed. The Skull and Bones team are proud of the work they've accomplished on the project since their last update, with the production just passing alpha, and are excited to share more details when the time is right. That being said, any unfounded speculation about the game or decisions being made only works to demoralize the team, who are working very hard to develop an ambitious new franchise.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know, right? There's like a whole bunch of things here. If people are interested in this, there is a giant article that you can read about what went on with it. I didn't read all the specifics. I just wanted to bring up the fact that that game, first of all, still exists. Second of all, has existed for years, and third of all, is finally starting to get anywhere just now.
I was it this game that apparently took money from the Singapore government and
Yeah.
legally has to make the game? Like they can't scrap it; they have to actually finish the game.
So that's all in here as well. The ties with Singapore and the government. Yep. Yep.
It's a read.
Here's a quote taken from here. Since the beginning, this project has always been driven by fear. Current Ubisoft developer.
That's a good way to develop games.
Glassdoor review page for Ubisoft. Singapore, full of complaints about uncompetitive salaries, wage discrimination, office politics, toxic managers. Yeah, there is a lot in here, which might be up your alley if you're into seeing why games sometimes don't get made, even though like people are excited for it. Weird shit.
Dude, the game industry sucks.
Dude.
Yeah. I went to university to learn how to make video games, and I was like, man, programming doesn't seem like my thing. I'm gonna get out of it. Apparently, I dodged a fucking nuke.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what an NVIDIA 3090 card is, it's about $2,000 and impossible to find because they are extremely rare and extremely powerful, top of the line. That being said, if you owned a 3090 and played the New World beta, you might have had it completely destroyed. So
what?
New World had a bug where if you were playing the game, it defaults to uncapped frame rate. And if you play the game with a 3090 with uncapped frame rate, some computer systems would go up to a few thousand frames per second in the menu to the point where the card would fry itself almost instantly. Yeah. Apparently this was targeting specifically EVGA, a lot of their 3090s.
FPS.
9,000, yeah, that's it. Yep. They say New World is safe to play. This was happening specifically on EVGA's FTW3 variant of the graphics card, but Gigabyte's graphics card also had this problem. Yeah, imagine like being excited for an MMO beta, which is essentially a demo, having a $2,000 card and then it just fries when you load that shit up. Oh, wow. Can't imagine. I hope those people. EVGA has been known in the industry for being like really good about if you have a problem with one of their cards, you can like mail it back and they'll send you a new one, kind of like no question asked. I hope they're doing something for them, but 3090 and chips and all that sort of stuff real hard to find. So
yeah, Amazon says we've seen no indication of widespread issues with 3090s either in the beta or during our many months of alpha testing.
Yeah, it's weird. Super weird. Man. Pro Evolution Soccer is going free to play and changing their name to eFootball. So that's a thing. I didn't read a whole lot into this. This was from our Discord, but yeah, apparently they're getting a new engine. And they are kind of releasing now under the eFootball name, and it's going to be free to play, which makes sense to me because those games are all about getting kids to buy a whole bunch of different in-game transactions, so why not make it free to play so more kids download it and get those sweet, sweet transactions. Makes sense. Okay. Here's something you would be interested in. The SNES update for July 28th of what's coming to the SNES Online.
Man, I looked at these games. I know all three of these games. And I'm like, what are they doing?
They're weird choices.
What are they doing?
Yeah. So if you have Super NES Online on your Switch, on July 28th, you can download and play, or I guess just play in the cloud, Claymates, Jelly Boy, and Bomboozle.
So I'm confused about one thing. Bomboozle actually has a different name over here. It's called Kablooey. So I don't know why they're using a different name.
I don't. Do you think it's
It
like
must be like a
rights?
European cartridge. Because Jelly Boy we also didn't get over here. So that's a European ROM there likely. So I guess Bomboozle is probably the same thing.
Sure. Yeah. These are weird choices. I haven't been paying attention, but like, do they have stuff like, I don't know, Earthbound on there yet, or like things that people want?
No, that's why people are mad because like a lot of the heavy hitters aren't on there yet.
Yeah.
I don't even think all the Donkey Kong countries are on there yet. But like
Great.
Super Mario RPG is not on there, Earthbound's not on there. But I mean, those both have some issues, so I get why they're not on there.
Sure.
But I don't even think all the games that are on the SNES Classic are on there yet. So.
Great.
Oh, I'm getting confirmation DKC Trilogy may actually already be on there. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Man, they are not doing great with some
like,
of these choices.
Even I remember even like the last few updates they've done have been kind of wishy-washy. Here, I'm gonna load it up now. Let me just look at what the last few updates were for SNES Online.
Sure. I got really excited at first because when I saw the picture in passing on Twitter, I thought that it said Clay Fighters, and I was just like, yeah, all right, Clay Fighters. There we go.
Nope, this is the spin-off of Clay Fighters, Claymates. Yeah. It's a platforming game where you're a child that's been turned into, I think, a pile of clay or something like that, and you can transform into clay animals, and that's how you have to get revenge on your uncle or neighbor. I forget which. Like, it's
Great.
it's a weird cartoony plot.
Great. Man, what about Clay Fighter, though? I love that stupid game.
I was saying, do people even still hold Clay Fighter in regard? Like, that's not a good game.
Where else are you going to play Blue Suede Goo? Blue Suede Goo for Smash, all right? That's all I'm saying. Or bad Mr.
It has been
Frosty.
it has been a while since I turned this on, apparently. I have, Donkey Kong Country 3 to turn on there. Hey, Punk, are you tough enough?
Right, yeah.
Psycho Dream, which was actually a decent import game. The Ignition Factor, where you play as a firefighter. Super Valis 4, oh, hell yeah. Prehistoric Man from Titus Interactive. Doomsday Warrior from Renovation. Super Mario Kart Special Edition. Super Baseball Simulator 1000. Joe and Mac, which was a launch title, basically. Magical Drop 2. Spanky's Quest. Oh, wow, those are the last few that got added on there, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, there's some interesting choices here. Operation Logic Bomb, Smash Tennis. There's some hot, like really good titles like Breath of Fire 2 is on here. Oh, 1 and 2. Brawl Brothers, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Pilot Wings, F-Zero, Demon's Crest, Super Punch-Out, Star Fox 2. And then there's Super Tennis and Super Soccer.
Great.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. Claymates, Jelly Boy, and Bamboozle. There you go. In a week you can enjoy. Speaking of a week you can enjoy, Playdate pre-order.
Oh, Wild Guns is on there. Hell
next
yeah.
week. Nice. Wild Guns is great. You gonna get that
thing?
Oh,
the Playdate finally? Hell yeah.
Yeah, next week. 1 week from now. From today. On Nathan's birthday, July 29th.
Notes. Pre-orders will not sell out. The first batch of 20,000 Playdates should ship in late 2021. Additional orders will ship in 2022.
Wow.
We'll adjust 2022 production based on demand.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Pre-orders require full payment but can be canceled anytime for a full refund.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Units, limited to 2 per person. Like, there's no way to capture these is the only thing. So, like, I can't stream this is the downside.
Yeah. I know there will be somebody in the world that hacks it somehow, but if it's even a feasible thing, who knows? That thing is weird looking still to me.
I love how quirky it is, though. That's kind of why I want it.
It harkens back to a time from our childhood when game companies were just trying shit. So there is that. I could see why people would want it. So you are going to pre-order one then?
I'm going to try to. I like the idea behind this. So for those who haven't heard about the Play Date, this is a system that basically looks like a tiny Game Boy. It's got like a black and white screen and a little crank on the side that you can use. Like they all do different things. But also, all the games are downloadables. You basically get a subscription and they give you 24 games for like
Lucas
that
Pope made
first
one.
season of subscription. Yeah. For $179 US, includes the full season 1 of games, 24 original Playdate games delivered weekly at no extra charge. So every week you get a new game downloaded onto your system. It's a neat idea.
Sure. Yeah. For sure. I really like the pre-orders will not sell out. They're just going to keep selling.
I'm happy to see that. I'm also, I know that the dude who made Katamari apparently made a game for this. I'm excited to see what that was.
Yeah, for sure. Last thing, which is just a quickie. If you're a PS5 owner, you have the opportunity to get Apple TV for what is it? 6 months. You can get a 6-month trial. You need a Apple login, like an Apple account. You need a PS5, and basically, it looks like what you do is you sign up. It renews for $5 a month after the trial, but you get it for 6 months for free. Ted Lasso starts this week, season 2. You can catch up. It's a great show. Yeah, just a public service announcement that I didn't know about, and I thought that was neat. That's it for news. We are running pretty long, but let's try to get through some questions.
Yay, questions.
If you want to write in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, TDP Podcast on Twitter, not the Facebook group, the Discord channel. Haha, I'm not old. And John's P.O. Box. I'll take this first double question from Zachariah. A few months ago, I was talking to a coworker of mine about what games we were currently playing. I mentioned that I was enjoying the Metroidvania aspects of the remaster of Arkham Asylum. He got confused, and it turned out he had never heard of the genre or either of the franchises that form the name. Have you ever had a conversation like that where a game you thought was famous was unheard of?
Yeah, dude. Like, like the NES is like what, 35 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like people are young.
Sure.
Dude, so I'm doing a Donkey Kong Country Let's Play on YouTube right now. And Donkey Kong Country is a very well-known Super Nintendo game.
Sure.
And I've had a lot of people that I'm like, yeah, I've never seen or played this game before.
Sure.
Like, because they're like, I was born 10 years after it came out. Yeah. And I can legally drive, like stuff like that. It's just like, okay, yeah, no, you can't. It's to the point where like this retro is a real term. It's a real thing. Sure. Most of the shit on this wall, most people probably have not seen, and it's completely normal, even if it's like super well-known shit.
Sure. Also, like, not on the internet, I talk to people in real life, and a lot of people don't know what Fortnite is, which is like baffling to me because if you've ever been on the internet, you know what Fortnite is. So like, yeah, that's totally a thing that it's like the people that, or it's like going to an island and finding soldiers that were lost in World War II, thinking the war was still going on. Just don't know, man. Second question. Finally, a mysterious person walks up to you and offers you $1 billion to create a successful game streaming platform. You're going to need more than that. You have to outline 3 points that this service should either strive for or avoid at all costs, and pick an existing company as a backer and name recognition, with the catch that said company cannot have already put their hat into the ring. Okay, so no...
That part is actually tough because a lot of companies have.
Yeah. Google owns YouTube, which has, so that doesn't count, I guess. Amazon doesn't count.
Yep. Microsoft doesn't count. Nintendo, bizarrely, does count.
You go to Apple, you tell them that it's a mobile
Hey,
only streaming platform for their
haven't they
iOS
already done that?
devices.
Isn't that Apple Arcade technically?
Oh, I guess I was thinking game streaming as in Twitch, not like yeah, you're right. They have done
Oh,
Apple
yeah.
Arcade.
Sorry. Yeah. What is this? Is this streaming video games or is this like Netflix style streaming games?
Also, Netflix no longer counts.
Yeah. Also, Netflix no longer counts.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I think he probably means in the way that like Stadia exists, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cuz that makes more sense. Um
And this would play off of the Netflix thing that came up last week. So
yeah. Can't have put their hat in the ring.
that's the problem. There's very few companies at this point that are noticeable that haven't tried this.
What if you bring Blockbuster back with a game streaming platform?
That one last Blockbuster in Alaska,
Yeah.
they had the staying power that no one knew.
Yeah, bring Blockbuster back. Actually, you know what? If you had $1 billion to bring Blockbuster back as like an online brand streaming platform, you probably could with a couple of select games. Because they have a notoriety and name, and you'd get enough people just based on like, whoa, what the fuck factor. But I don't think it would last.
But I don't know if it would last. And could they even legally after the goof up? No, they can't because Blockbuster did a streaming service.
Oh,
Or
did
was it Blockbuster did like a Netflix style like mailing out DVD service? I forget which one it was they did.
Did they do Quickster? Was that them?
Oh God, I think that was them.
I can't remember how you spell that.
It's like
Quickster.
Quixster.
Oh no, Quickster was Netflix company. Oh, okay, that was their DVD only service.
Oh,
Okay.
never mind. Blockbuster had something. They had a DVD service.
Okay. Yeah, so they don't even count then. Oh my god, like what do you do? Like Walmart, I guess? Isn't Walmart's doing
trying.
something?
Walmart's doing one.
Fuck. McDonald's. McDonald's hasn't tried yet. They're big enough that you might.
When I think
get
downloads, I think McDonald's.
It's just that fucking McKids or whatever game.
It's just all the games they made for the Genesis and NES. Yeah, Mick and Mac Global Gladiators.
Yeah.
McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure.
Yeah, that's the one. That MC Kids, McKids or whatever.
Yeah, I like how we haven't even actually answered the question yet. We've been still hung up on being like, what company can we even say?
All right, I'm gonna say McDonald's. They should strive for having the quickest service and the hottest fries around. And they cannot have put their hat. Yeah, I don't think you would definitely get people to like go for it for like a month of just like seeing what it is. You would not have people, although you could give away codes with like promotional meals and stuff.
Yeah. So that would actually work.
It
for
could
McDonald's.
actually work a little bit.
But here's the thing, so like tie-ins with your actual product. So like in this case, meals, you can get like trial codes or like one free game rental code, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have like an expanding inventory of games, which is the really actually hard part.
Totally.
As Stadia has proven.
Yeah.
And totally. And just have it so like your system doesn't go down. Have like the downloads be fast and have the game options be constantly like updating.
Yeah.
Have Game Pass. It has to be Game Pass.
It has to be Game Pass. Yeah.
All right. VGC Kenny writes in and says, how would you react if Nintendo announced that their next big Mario game was just going to be called Super Mario Bros. 4 or Mario 5 since World is technically 4 in Japan? I'd be impressed on the balls on them.
Yep. It would have to be different enough in some way for them to do that. Otherwise, why would they?
Yeah, and I don't think current Nintendo can do that.
No, I agree.
Current Nintendo has two flavors right now. They have cookie cutter everything.
Yep.
And they have fucking crazy idea zone.
Yeah.
There's like no in between. There's like, we're gonna do something that's so vastly different, or like very like heavily different from what the norm of a series is, that it almost feels like it's its own separate entity, like Breath of the Wild or even Odyssey, even though that's still more in line with what it is. Or it's like, we use the same HUD overlay for Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Super Mario Party, etc., etc.
I was gonna say you got the double whammy with Breath of the Wild, where they did something incredibly different, and then they played it safe by making Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a twofer. Yeah, you have to do something completely different. Otherwise, that's terrible. Decoy Troy writes, how do you feel about numbered sequels versus a sequel with a different subtitle? For example, the Final Fantasy series being numbered, while Zelda just has a new subtitle for every game other than 2, although 2 also still had a subtitle.
I think when your number gets so high, you either have to stop using numbers,
Yeah,
or you just have to accept that it just sounds ridiculous. Like the fact that Final Fantasy 16 is in development right now just sounds ridiculous.
it does. Yeah. It's also
But at this,
daunting
yeah,
for people that
yeah,
haven't played it. Yeah.
I like how Nintendo did the opposite of this with Mario Kart. They all had different names, and then they started going 7, 8, 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, the best is when you can do both and then really confuse people, like calling
Yeah.
your sixth game in, or fifth or sixth game in a row Battlefield 1.
Do you mean Kingdom Hearts 3, the 12th Kingdom Hearts game, or whatever the fuck the actual number is?
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it.
I think it's the 9th.
Honestly, I like the different subtitle because it gives me more of a flavor of what that game specifically is about, just in general. A number tells me nothing except what order it came out in. And even then, that's wrong usually now, so.
Yeah. You always do a Windows 7, 8, 10, 11. Skip
XP,
9 completely.
Millennium.
All right, Suka writes in and says, as internet personalities, have you ever gotten an unusually long rant from a stranger on one of your opinions? All the fucking time.
Yeah. I stopped writing reviews because my Mass Effect 3 opinion didn't go down so well. So yes, I have.
If I ever say I don't like a game or franchise for X or Y reason, someone will try to pick that reason apart to the point where it just reinforces my hatred of X or Y opinion.
Yep.
Cons are fun for you, aren't they, John? I hate everything.
Same.
Cons are probably where it happens the least, simply because anyone who does that in person is the kind of person I would not want to hang around in the first place anyways. Or I would just be like, I'm going to stop you right now. I have to go do something. I can physically be like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
You can't do that to someone on the internet because they still will keep going anyways, but you can physically ask a person to stop, or you can leave.
You can walk away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there are 3 questions here. Sorry. Next part. There was a huge outrage on Reddit recently about the definition of a chicken sandwich versus a burger.
Oh God.
No. Some argue that a burger has to be minteen. Others say that the bread is what makes the burger. What is a chicken burger in your country?
Oh, I don't know, actually.
They're the same fucking thing. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
They're the same fucking thing. If you wanna actually draw a line, usually I think it has to be grilled for it to be a burger, because that's usually what you do with actual patties. You have to grill it in a way. And the minced meat thing makes sense too, but yeah, traditionally it's grilled or battered or grilled or something like that. But a sandwich, a chicken sandwich and a chicken burger, sort of the same thing.
The distinction,
their toppings will be different too.
The distinction that I see being made when I Googled really quickly chicken burger definition is that the idea of a chicken burger is chicken put into a patty form, essentially. We're just putting a piece of chicken as a sandwich, or ripped chicken, but it's the same. Yeah, I agree.
All right. And the last part from Suku. Speaking of burgers, what is your preferred burger emoji? I have not paid that much attention to emojis,
Me neither.
as that is a healthy thing to do.
I don't know that I've ever used a burger emoji.
Okay, let's see. Hang on. What do we got here? Here we go. I got I found my favorite. It's from the Barrel Talk server. It's Amy from Sailor Moon holding a burger.
Yeah.
That's my favorite burger emoji. That's it. That's the answer.
Shout out to I am 3D Homer. Yep. That's a good one. Phantom Aegis. Hello, TDP crew. Have you ever had your irrational fears made playing a game, or have you ever had your irrational fears made playing a game hard or unbeatable? It's kind of an awkward sentence. I had this issue with Twilight Princess and recently Skyward Sword with a specific crawly enemy.
Oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah,
I do too.
Recent I played through Banjo Kazooie.
Okay.
On her channel years ago. Reese is deathly afraid of drowning, and there are a number of stages where you have to be completely submerged underwater, and drowning is a regular threat. Sure. So it got to the point where she was going to have to give the controller to me to get through it. She still did it, and I was proud of her for it. But she's like, I can't do anything else for the rest of the day now. Like that fucks up. Stuff like that can just fuck up any attempt to go through a game. So I get that.
Yeah. Soma, which is a game I really, really like, has a part at the very, very end in the last hour where you are doing a walk across the ocean floor in complete black while scary shit is around you. I am deathly afraid of deep ocean to where you can no longer see the sunlight. It's a claustrophobic and like a weird darkness thing at the same time. I stopped playing the game and watched a YouTube Let's Play from that point on to see the ending because I could not do it myself. So yes, I have.
Masterman7 writes in and says, yesterday I watched Forrest Gump for the first time. I know, very late to the party, and I really enjoyed it. It made me tear up a bit by the end. What's interesting to me about it was how he, as in Forrest, unwittingly witnessed and in a way influenced some of the most memorable historical events from the 20th century, at least in the United States. Now, if you were to make an alternate version of said movie but centered around the events from the last 30 years, mainly video game related, how would it go and what would its title be? So Forrest Gump, but planned around video game history. It has to be like one of those it's Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is Forrest Gump in this case. He keeps getting brought back up. He was a famous world record setter back in the day. He got involved in the King of Kong controversy and all this other shit. It has to be someone with that kind of storyline base.
Sure. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think of any developers that have moved around a lot. So I was thinking Cliffy B for a bit, but not really.
No. And he's generally not liked. See, the actual problem with this is a lot of the people in the industry that would fit this role eventually become not liked.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Even guys like Miyamoto get heat. Yep. So this is a tough one.
Oh, you know what? I think the way you do it is you have a character who is born in the 80s or 90s and they are somehow influence Mario or something as a kid, and then they grow up to kind of be a speedrunner or something, and they have to be just a normal guy not in the industry that somehow their presence affects a bunch of different stuff. They could become an influencer on YouTube and Twitch later on in their life. Then they become part of the game industry maybe as they're adults or whatever. Yeah. And then the title is we just whatever their name is because
See, for a second I thought you were really going to make this Matt Hazard, because I thought it was going to start with we have a video game character that starts in the 80s and the 2D era, then gains the third dimension and etc. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, that we're describing Matt Hazard now.
Yeah. The janitor that Mario is supposedly named after? Sure. Yeah, something like that.
Landlord, wasn't it? It's a landlord?
Oh, was it? Yeah, that sounds correct, actually. John Carmack. John Carmack is a good one, actually, just in general.
Carmack's not completely hated yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Also, Iwata had his hand in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So that would actually be cool. I would totally. That would also have like the really sad ending with Iwata.
It would have a sad ending, but I feel like it would be actually that would be really fascinating because considering how many things Iwata kind of shaped for Nintendo.
Totally.
Like the fact that he like fixed Pokemon, he's like Gold and Silver, he fit all of Red and Blue in there. Like he worked on Kirby, he worked on like all like these big franchises, Earthbound, everything.
He is the Forrest Gump of the industry of Nintendo, anyway. At least.
Wow. I mean that in a very non-insulting manner.
I love Forrest Gump. I think, yeah,
it's a good movie.
I could see why that would be insulting now. Holy shit. Yeah. Last question from Gutang Clan. Question for this week's at TDP podcast. Hey, that's us. Was there an arcade game you were dominant at, held the high score, or some record on? Mine was Soul Calibur. I had the arcade time attack record with Sophitia. I can't say her name.
Yeah, Sophitia.
An arcade game.
I was pretty good at Metal Slug when we had it at the university.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We used to go to in Airdrie, there was in a mini mall, there's a like Chinese food place, and we would go there after church on Sundays for a buffet. They had a Miss Pac-Man cocktail machine, and I played the shit out of that.
Nice.
For sure.
Yeah, and that does it for this episode of Top 10 Perspective.
That's it. What is your game of the week?
Blaster Master 03.
Hell yeah. I'm going to give it to Cris Tales. Housekeeping stuff. The poll, as we mentioned before, is for TDP Plus August game is live. Please go vote. It is so close. You have no idea. Your vote will actually matter this time. Like, it's crazy how close.
Not like those other times. This time, for real.
There are some times where, like, 10 people could vote and it wouldn't make a difference because everybody wanted one game. That has happened. This is very, very close. So if you're a patron, first of all, thank you. But second of all, go vote. Speaking of voting for TDP Plus, a Backbone episode is going to happen. We're thinking in about 2 weeks. Not exactly sure because of Sean's situation.
It's going to hinge on that because we want all three of us to be here, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is it. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Everybody.